If you've ever felt the urge to orbit someone who's ignoring you or given the silent treatment, ghosting, whatever term you want to use, this is for us. That urge is called reverse hoovering. And reverse hoovering isn't love, it's a trauma reflex. It's the fear of being forgotten, insignificant, irrelevant, invisible. It's the ache of being misunderstood. Even if it is with the person who abused you. People who have been abused oftentimes have a desire to go back with their abuser or the captor. And it's a nervous system response. And it is a paradox. The person who hurt you is also the person that you feel will be able to soothe the pain they caused. And that's not true. That's not reality. I would know. I went back to every partner who was abusive to me. I went back because the fear of being without them was more powerful and overwhelming than me staying with my abuser because I knew how to function with the abuse and that toxic cycle. The residue of relationships where your worth was measured by your proximity and not your presence is challenging for, again, that ingrained pattern, that toxic pattern. And for me specifically, I was conditioned as a young child to accept abuse. And when you are a child, you want safety. So the person who was causing the abuse or leading me into the abuse is also the person that I would look to for comfort because I didn't know what else to do. Of course, you don't know what to do. You're a child. And now it's a loop and it's a pattern that I have to consciously keep myself out of. And even though I am now safe, thankfully, and I am not in an abusive relationship, I still have that residue. And it's hard because I get an urge and a thought. I'm like, oh, I should just message this person. And I have to consciously and with so much effort and logic and grace and understanding tell myself, no, we're not doing that. That's the old story. We're not doing that anymore. That's the old us. That's the abuse. That's the trauma bond. That's the toxic pattern. So I'm choosing presence over performance now. Even when it stings, even when silence feels like abandonment, even when my nervous system begs for proof, the proof is in the pudding. That's healing. And it's hard when you have been in any type of pattern, healthy or not, to break it. That's why addiction is hard to overcome. That's why it's hard to leave an abusive relationship. It takes most people, women specifically, because that's all I can talk about is female, like a female perspective, 8 times to leave a toxic, abusive relationship. 8 times. That blows my mind because I used to do that. Put myself back into danger. Reverse hoovering. That's what I was doing. I would reverse hoover myself. And my abusers knew that I was weak and easy to manipulate and that I would return because their hooks were so far in me. I just didn't have the internal willpower and strength and love. I didn't know it was an option to walk away. I thought I had to stay committed, loyal. That's not loyalty, that's self betrayal, self abandonment. And I was allowing myself to stay in such toxic loops because I was afraid. And I told myself that was probably the best it was going to get was with that person. And that is a risk that you kind of do take, I guess, freeing yourself from that. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know who's going to come into your life. And regardless of that, I'm coming back to myself, and that is the most important thing. And the biggest takeaway here is you need to come back to yourself. They're still playing chess with a version of you that no longer exists. Checkmate.